Good afternoon, everyone. Time is 6:01. Today is March 3rd, 2025, and this is the Community Development Corporation meeting. Today, we'll call the meeting to order under B, Invocation and Pledge. Mr. Milam.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for those here and those that give of their time to serve our community. Appreciate their work and their diligence and their concern for Los Fresnos. Bless them as they make decisions and give them wisdom that is needed. And we pray that Los Fresnos continues to excel in everything that we do. Continue to bless us. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to item C, Miss Jackie, anybody sign up? That being the case, we move on to item D, which is action items. Excuse me. Under item D1, consideration and action to approve the minutes of February 3rd, 2025. And they're contained in your packet.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from February 3rd, 2025.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. We approve the minutes from February 3rd, 2025. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes
Aye.
have it. It's unanimous except for Mr. Huerta, who walked away briefly. Under action item D2, consideration and action to acknowledge the January 2025 financial report under A, monthly, B, year-to-date, and C, sales tax report. Mr. Milo.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, on page 6, the report starts. You can see on page 7 that total check $61,630 and 54 cents. Two that I'll mention is $98.44 for alley that y'all approved to do, and then street repair for $42,375 and 46 cents. The rest of them are normal expenditures that we do throughout time. The next page, 8, shows a summary. I won't spend a lot of time because we've got February to review too, but as of January, that would have been 33.3% of the budget year passed. Sales tax, we're a little behind at 30.51, which translates to about $19,000. Expenditures, we are down about 90,000, so that's good. Only at 21.8%. So net gain of almost 40,000. So to the good, even though we're down on sales tax. On the report, the next page of 9, you can see that we had the second month after the first month of a negative, and then the November at basically even. Last month or December at 13.5% increase, and now 4.4% increase. So we're inching back to the break-even point, 1.54% down, which is only $3,200. So we'll be okay over the year. That's compared to last year. And that's all my report on January.
I hear a motion.
I make a motion for considerate action to acknowledge the January 2025 financial report, A, monthly, B, year-to-date, C, sales tax report.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. We approve the January 2025 financial report under A, monthly, B, year-to-date, and C, sales tax report. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Again, it's unanimous except for Mr. Huerta, who stepped away briefly. Moving on to item D3, consideration and action to acknowledge the February 2025 financial report under A, monthly, B, year-to-date, and C, sales tax report. Mr. Mylum again.
Page 10, you'll see it starts there. With page 11, you see the list of checks, total of $13,710.71. The only one that's not monthly is the Burton McCumber, which is our audit for $5,958.25. So we'll talk about the audit here in a little bit, but all the other checks are normal checks. Page 12. As we get to February, we're 41.7% of the year complete. And guess what? We're back to where we need to be with budget. We're at 42.01%, so we're a little bit above. Sometimes it just takes a while and depends on how the months fall. But doing good as far as budget on the revenue side. On the expenditure side, the same thing. We're at 23.63% of the budget dollars, which is $185,962.32. So when you look at the revenue versus expenditures, we're to the plus 101, a little over $101,000. The next page is just a summary of that. And then that turns us to page 14. Not only budget-wise, we're back even, but compared to last year, we had a good month in February, plus 15,449.49. So that was a 25% increase over last year. So total, when we look at it all, we're $12,240 back in the plus, or 4.5% for the year plus when compared to last year. So those things work out through time, and we're fortunate our businesses continue to do well. That's all my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mylum. Any questions, comments, discussion of Mr. Mylum? That being the case, do I hear a motion?
I make a motion for the consideration and action to acknowledge the February 2025 financial report, A, monthly, B, year-to-date, and C, sales tax report.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to acknowledge the February 2025 financial report under A, monthly, B, year-to-date, and C, sales tax report. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to item D4, consideration and action to approve the CDC 2023-2024 audit report. Mr. Mylum.
Yes, the audit was good. I'll start with my review on page 15. Generally, when you say the fund balance decreased by $46,000, you think that's not necessarily good, but if you'll recall, we saved some money over the last few years to do a huge street project and to do the Veterans Memorial. So we've paid a lot of those out. Additionally, we got some soccer goals for our young kids, and then put a little over $21,000 in the girls softball field, redoing that, making that a nice facility. So all in all, it was about $271,000 of things that we've been working towards over the years. So all in all, very good. When you usually have that you would think your fund balance would go down $271,000, but it only went down 40. On the next page, 16 in your book, you can see that our cash and cash equivalents are about the same as last year, just about $700 different, so everything stays pretty steady on as far as assets. When you go to the next page, I wanted to move there to page 17 on the revenues. You can see last year we had 612,815, went up to 622,259, so good increase and steady. Interest, you can also see that better interest dollars just because of interest rates have been high, so more revenue. On expenditures, you can see that's where the money that we saved. Last year we only spent $338,189, which we were saving, and then in 2024 spent $687 in order to get those other projects as well as some other things. But net result is a decrease in fund balance of $46,604 to bring our total fund balance, and what that is like a savings account. We have it over here for a rainy day, $630,346. Might note that that is a little higher than our revenues for last year, so we have a lot of savings so that if we have a project that's coming up, we can utilize to do that, which is good shape. Rule of thumb is we need to at least have a 3 months supply. So 600,000, we would, 150 would be, 150 to 200 would be a good, so we're way past that. So we're good audit and everything's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Mylum. Any questions, comments, discussion, or any questions from Mr. Mylum? That being the case, do I hear a motion?
I'll motion to approve, the action to approve the CDC 2023-2024 audit report.
And I'll second the motion to approve the CDC 2023-2024 audit report.
We have a motion and a second to approve the CDC 2023-2024 audit report. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Under D5, consideration and action to approve funding for the Earth Day event on Saturday, April 12th, 2025.
We have funded this for the last couple of years. I don't know why I didn't get it in the budget, but I didn't. So I was asking to include $3,000 to the Earth Day event. Probably won't spend all of that, but we do want to have some to be able to put on a nice event. Earth Day is actually Tuesday, April 22nd. Saturday's a day to do that, so the best date for everyone is April 12th, which is about 10 days before. We can't do it the weekend before because that's a Good Friday and the Easter holiday and a holy holiday for a lot of folks, so we wanted to stay away from that weekend, so we went back to April 12th. So got a lot of good things planned, and it's been a very, very successful event and positive for our community.
Thank you, Mr. Mylum. Any questions, comments, discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion that we consider an act to approve funding for the Earth Day event on April the 12th in the amount of $3,000.
Second the motion?
There's a motion and a second to approve funding for the Earth Day event on Saturday, April 12th, 2025, in the amount of $3,000, as recommended by Mr. Mylum. Questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to D6, consideration and action to approve upgrades to the parking area at the community park and Memorial Park. Mr. Milo?
This is an item that we've been looking at for a while, and finally got someone that is relatively inexpensive in doing it, so I wanted to bring it to the board. If you look on, it's a total of $25,000. If you look at page 20 and 21 in your booklet, that's the community park, and it serves not only the park, but Little League, the library, and all of that. If you've been there recently, it's badly worn and needs striping and everything. They'll put two nice coats, and if there's anything that there's a weak spot on, they'll fix it first. But we don't think there is, and they'll make it look like a new parking lot. And what that'll do is seal it so that any cracks or anything that where moisture goes down and starts messing with the base, it'll resolve that. Then you go to the next two pages, 22 and 23. That's for Memorial Park. It's also not quite as bad as Community Park, but it is in need and needs restriping. And it'll also preserve it and extend the life quite a bit on having to redo that. That one's more expensive just because it's a larger parking area. 17, the two together would be $25,000. Nature Park is a new parking lot, so it's good. We just need those two. And that's my recommendation.
Any questions, comments, discussion with Mr. Milo? Do I hear a motion?
I make the motion for the consideration and action to approve the upgrade to the parking area at the community park and Memorial Park.
I'll second that motion.
For the amount of $25,000.
Was 25,000 the total for both? Okay. So that's your motion and a second.
Second in the amount of 25,000 to
So we-
approve upgrades to the parking areas at the community park and Memorial Park.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to item D7, consideration and action to approve adding a full-time position of Economic Development Coordinator to replace the current staffing structure. Mr. Milo.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is a big step for the city, but it's one that I think that we need to make. We have done very, very well with Desi and Liaison, as well as our interns. I think we've got to the point where we need a full-time staff member that is here 5 days a week, 40 hours, and to be able to do some things that we currently can't do in the present setup. It's no disrespect or anything to the current situation. It's just we've grown and grown and grown, and think that we need to move to that. It'll help in a lot of different situations. Because of the way it's structured, the biggest change would be the benefit package. You can see I did some calculations, and we're thinking that the maximum increase would be around $21,862, and that's at the high end. Not saying that the person we choose would be that level, but it could be less than that, depending on who applies and who we end up deciding to pick. So that's that part of the recommendation, which is, you see the job description on 25, 26, 27, 28, that's a lot. When you look at other cities, sometimes they have staff, larger cities have several people doing this. So the person won't do all of that, but will do pieces of it depending on what we're looking for and where we at in our particular year and what's out there at the particular time. A little bit kind of like what we do now. Different times of the year, we focus on different things. Part of that approval, I want to include, the current liaison is eligible to apply for the new position if would like to. And if he gets it, no, then it continues as a full-time. If he doesn't, I would like the approval that we pay him 12 weeks, which is the equivalent of 3 months, because of the work that Desi's done for years and years for us. And that amount would be $9,600. That would be paid if, we decide that on hiring someone else, well, and say that person starts May 1st, let's say, well, then that would be that pay from that point when that person starts. Be open to any questions you might have.
Questions?
So that is a position that Mr. Martinez has part-time right now, or?
He's a contracted employee right now, not an employee, contracted like a business. Is not an employee of the city. I think when the CDC board hired him, they used the word liaison between the board and the community and myself. So it'd be an employee.
So this wouldn't affect him?
Yes, it would affect him. We're asking a full-time employee to replace that position in the interns. Of course, he's eligible to apply, and there's some things that might prevent that from him doing. That's why I don't want to leave him out in the cold because of what work he's done for us over the last 14 years. And that's why I want to, if he needs to find another gig, I want us to help him for 3 months to be able to find that.
Any other questions?
I have a comment. Those 12 weeks are going to be real important as well. This is the way I can see it, because there's going to be a new person learning a new job, having to know where all the ropes are at and all those things. And I think it's a really good idea to have that, at least for training a new employee, if Mr. Martinez chooses not to take the position. But I think it's a good idea as well.
Just so you know, the idea for that is we'll do the training, but the idea is that for him to be free to go secure another position, not stay here for 3 months.
Correct, I saw that.
Just so you know, but I do know the character he is, he will help Los Fresnos whatever he can do, always has.
Correct.
And additionally, the person that we're bringing on for that kind of money, $70,000 to $90,000 a year, should have some knowledge, skills, and abilities to begin with. We're not taking someone that's green and training them in the area. It's someone that's going to hit the ground running.
Or we end up not making the move if we don't find that person.
True. Okay. Do I hear a motion? Any further questions, comments, discussion? Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion on the consideration and action to approve adding a full-time position of Economic Development Coordinator to replace the current staffing structure.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We approve adding a full-time position of Economic Development Coordinator to replace the current staffing structure as explained by Mr. Mylum today, as explained by Mr. Mylum. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to item E, report by CDC Consultant. CDC Consultant Report, February 2025, Business and Resident Site Information, Business Outreach, and C, Sponsored Promotions. Mr. Martinez.
Well, this is been a great pleasure working with you all as your consultant, as your liaison for 14 years. There's 971 cities in the state of Texas. I've been one fortunate individual to work with you for such a long time, and Mr. Mylum and his wonderful staff. You have a wonderful city, a robust city ready for blossoming. And I know, as any business and any company, being a private entrepreneur, that most of us are, that things must take a different level. And I think, with all respect and professionalism between me and Mr. Mylum, that is a continuum. I applaud you for looking forward. But also remember that I will be here, whether I apply or not, that I will be here to assist you in anything you need in your business, because I am an entrepreneur. I am a self-employed, as you are, Mr. Chairman, and the rest of you and your family. So I'll be here to help you in there. You got my phone number, you got my email. Anything done with banking or business plans or developments, housing or commercial, industrial or federal government or state, I'm here. I will always support you because you've always supported me and my family. And as far as this report is concerned, you can see we had a small month, but we had a very successful month, as reported by the permitting of inquiries of people just coming knocking on doors. Well, new and expanding commercial businesses, new ones, 3 of them. One was actually an expansion of the front, development, but it was a new development as for their part. Small businesses, but important, because that's what most communities are. 80% of most communities are small business, if not more. In this case, in Los Fresnos small cities, it's a lot more. Total new residential, 9, and etc. And you see the report inquiries also on the signs. One of the things when I came in 14 years ago, Mr. Mylum and the board hired me after being reviewed by the board. One of the things that I wanted Mr. Mylum was that we have to light up the city, I think you recall, Mr. Chairman. And we did. Through the years, we light it up and help the small businesses, and we have. And you can see that by this city being one of the most, pretty communities in South Texas as you drive through Highway 100. In terms of business outreach and R&D that's been going on this month, even though it's a short month, the gas money, Mr. Mylum and I have been working for a long time to change our line in this corner of Ellis and Highway 100. And by the good luck of Ellis Road being expanded, the gas company decided to get it done. And it's being done, and it'll be accomplished, and it'll be a good site for commercial sites, because that's what all small cities need, all cities. It's locations, locations, locations. That's what businesses look for in every time. To date, of course, the office has been mailing out to different banks the packages that I gave you a draft. I apologize if we have a finished product in the office. You're welcome to one. And they were mailed out this month. I will stop there, but I will leave a list for whoever, me or whoever takes over, to continue that, because you do the mail outs in the first quarter to the businesses of your community. CDCB reports TDCB is a local, it's an industry in our trade area. It's right outside. You were at the conference when the Federal Reserve came down to review their operation. CDCB on California Road, a subdivision, is also good news. They're going to build 20 new homes. They're also have developed a rider to the U.S., to the Texas Senate, and I've been helping them, coaching them, because I used to work for a district state representative, know a little bit about how riders go and budgeting at the state level. And they are, presently, we are working to help them out, support a rider they have for $15 million. That will affect, that's plant, that's right here in Los Fresnos, increasing jobs, and also potentially doing new affordable housing subdivisions in small cities here and other throughout the South Texas. Finally, Earth Day, of course, this is a very credible project that the city is now undertaken after 2 years and been very, very successful. And the rodeo, congratulations. You have one of the best branding, volunteers groups, nonprofit that I know of in South Texas. And it has been not only them, but other events that you all sponsor, Little League, etc., Conjunto, have improved that brand. Looking good and having activities makes you viable communities. I want to thank you again, and whatever the sense is, I've had a great pleasure working with Mr. Milam as a pilot he is, and a navigator that I am in economic development, and with you all. And like I look forward to many, many more years. But like I said, whichever way he decides, whether I stay or where I come in from the outside, bring the projects, because that's what I do, also from the inside out or from the outside in. Either way, I look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez, for all your years of service. That comes from the heart from all of us. I'm the oldest one here as far as having been on the board, and I remember when we started, and since the day you started to the day, we've come a long way. A lot of it thanks to you. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good night.
Do I hear a motion? Let me see. No, it's just a report. Moving on to item F, report by general manager, into 1, city manager's report, A, veteran memorial, and that's on page 31 of your packet.
Veterans Memorial's coming along. They did plant some plants last week. They were there, didn't know exactly what they did today, but we still haven't done a final walkthrough. There's some things I'm not pleased with that they're gonna have to fix, like the lights that are supposed to be in the concrete stick up a little bit, and so if you're in a wheelchair or even walking, you could hit that, so it needs to be flush. So they'll be working on some of those things, and but I did want it to get open and start people being able to stop by. I wanted it for the rodeo weekend, since we have about 30,000 people around. And I did notice some people here, so that was good. A few things just need to be finished on it, adjustment of lights and some just cleanup. Once we get all that done, then we'll work on a date to have an event, but that'll be in advance so that people can plan. So it won't be anything, oh, we're open, we got to have something next week. Won't be anything like that. It'll be in the future so we can plan. And that's all of that. And just a comment, appreciate Desi on his professionalism. You know, when you bring up something like that, it could turn into a really tough situation. And he's got professionalism that handles with good. So kudos to him and the board as well. It's just you know, something we go through and growing, and appreciate him and being able to deal with it that way.
Conclude your report, Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir.
And again, Mr. Martinez, when we needed someone to carry the ball, you did. You got a lot of yards for us. Thank you. Moving on to item G, time is 6:36, meeting adjourned.